Hi and welcome back. It's good to have you here. If this is your first time here, it's lovely to have you with me. If you've been with me for a while, then it's great to have you back. And my name's Carol, and today we're going to get into something very different. As you will know from, if you've been with me, you will know that I have always enjoyed working with fabric, and before Christmas we worked on a table runner and table mat. So if you're interested in that, go back. There's a video back before Christmas with that. But I'm going to have a go at a new craft. So if you were with us right at the beginning of this channel when we were on holiday in Zakynthos, you will know that I went for a class with Sue on Mandala painting, the dot painting. And in a minute, I'll get the piece of work I did with her to show you what that looks like. And it was really enjoyable. We spent about 3 hours just quietly working with the paint. And I thought, you know, certainly during the winter months, that would be something I could actually enjoy doing. And we did a piece of card, a canvas with the dot design. I enjoyed it so much. When it came to Christmas, I asked Mike if he would get me the resources that I need, and he very kindly did. So I thought I'd show you those first, so you can see what I'm going to be using. So the first thing he got me were the acrylic paints. I couldn't get the ones I actually wanted, so he got these ones for me. Sorry, I have opened this box. Get it, that's it. So he got me these, and it's a fabulous selection. I mean, there are 36 different colours in here, from things like an ochre like that, but then you've got nice bright greens. I mean, every colour you could think of is in here. Look at this lovely turquoisey colour. What do they call that one? Oh, I don't think, emerald green. So anyway, all these lovely colours, including, if I can find it, somewhere in here, yeah. No, somewhere in here. Anyway, there's a silver and a gold. So I've got a really good selection of acrylic paints here. The thing is, they are a little bit thicker, so they will need thinning down. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm really pleased with those. So it's 36 different colours to play with. And you don't use a lot, so these will go on for quite a long while. And then to do the dotting, he got me this set of tools. Hang on, let me just take that out. I'll show you that in a minute. He got me this set of tools. Oh. So these are the rods that do the bigger dots. So you go from a little one like that, if you can see it, right up to this big thick one. So that's the rods. And then these are, they're actually often used for nail art. If you have your nails done and you have all the, the pretty bits done on top, then they probably use ones like this. But they've got little dots. Can you see that? Little dot on the end. And they're for the smaller dots. And on the end, these silicone bits at the end are great for tidying up. And so those were what I had when I did the class with Sue. We had a set of those and a set of those. So I've got those. And then this set also had some very big, let me show you, bigger ones like this, which I'm not sure how I'll have to play with those and see how they work. But anyway, so plenty of different tools for doing the dotting. And it all came in a nice little case so I can keep it all neat and tidy. So Mike got me those for Christmas, which was great. But to get on with what I wanted to do, the first thing I need to do is get something to thin down these paints. So what we used on the class was a thinning medium. So this is a pouring medium. And I got these from Hobbycraft. So that's a pouring medium. You see, it will just thin everything up. I'm a bit worried it might be a bit too thin. It probably needs a shake, but I'll play with that in a little while. And then because I want to treat the surface I'm going to work on, I've got some black gesso, which will just prepare my surface before dotting. That's what Sue had used on the canvases. With all of that, I also got there's some brushes came with what Mike bought me. So they're handy just for tidying up, mixing, that sort of thing. It also came with, let me just get these out. Yeah, and then this other set of brushes came, I think I can't remember which came with which. One came with the paints and the other came with the tools, but these are very handy. Oh no, they're the art fly, so they must have come, yeah, these are art fly, look, so they must have come with the paints. So those are really handy for applying paint as a surface. And then the tools also came with a sponge, which is useful for cleaning off brushes, and some little palettes to use. But actually, I mean, the palettes, you do see a lot of people use the palettes, but I would rather be able to keep my paint from one time to the next so I don't waste paint. And Sue has lovely little pots. Can you see these? Just a little tiny pot. So you mix the paint in there, use that, and if there's any left, just seal it so I can use it the next time and it won't dry out. So I bought myself, once again from Hobbycraft, I got 24 of those so that I can mix up paints and keep them. And then the only other thing I've treated myself to, so that I can do it, is a stencil for the pattern. So the Mandala pattern, the main pattern that everyone uses, is circular, and it's made up of a circle divided up. Now, Sue drew them for us using a compass and ruler and things, but I found this, let me just put it against the black so you can see it, which is a stencil which I can use to mark up the outlines for doing the mandala. And with that, some chalk pencils. These are the same as what I use for tailoring, actually, for just marking up on fabric. But some chalk pencils so that I can just trace through there. So they weren't very much. That was all from, I think they were from off Amazon. I found those. So I've got all I need now. So I want to get started. And I thought I would start because I know out in the garage I've got a few pebbles, that you use for decorating the edge of beds and things. And we've never used them. They've sat there for years. So I thought I might try and go and find those and use those to start with, just to do a little project. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll get back to you when I found the pebbles and had a chance to get them prepared. And then we'll see how it goes. I'm going to think there's going to be a lot of experimentation to start with, but come along with me and we'll see how this goes. It will be over several days, obviously, because I have to let things dry and then do the next bit. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. But I was so thrilled with all this from Mike, so that's really lovely. And I'm really looking forward to getting going on it. So if you're interested, stay with me and we'll see how this works out. So I've been out to the garage to look at where I've got these pebbles that were garden pebbles. They were for decorating the garden, to put round decorative. And we've had them sitting out there for ages. And I thought maybe I could start with these. But they obviously need a bit of clean. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got some warm, very lightly soapy, not lots of soap because I don't want soap going in. And I'm just going to give these a good wash and get them nice and clean. And then I'll need to let them dry out once I've got them cleaned off. Actually, they're not too bad. They're not actually that dirty. I think they've been in that bag all this time, but they will need to dry right off before I can actually start using them. And I thought this one was rather nice. You can go try and do sort of like a fan shape on that one, which will be something a bit different. Actually, the stone itself seems a shame to waste it. Actually, it's got lovely markings in it. But anyway, I'll see what I can do with that. This one is a nice round one. So I think I probably will start with that and just do a small mandala pattern on that. I'm just getting them so there's nothing left on them. These are all quite smooth. I looked at the others and some of them were a bit rough, so decided that I don't want to start with rough ones because I'll need to do some filling and all that sort of stuff. But these ones are all quite... Right, so that's those washed off. I'm going to leave them on this tray with the tea towel. I'm just going to give them a wipe with the tea towel anyway. Yeah, there's no dirt left on those, so that's good. I'll need to let them dry right out before I can start using them. And then we can start to think about how I go about this. But yeah, really looking forward to having a go at this. A nice new hobby to have a go at. So leave those stones to dry. Once they're dry, I'll come back and show you how I'm going to prepare them. Okay, so the stones have dried and I'm going to start with this one because I think it's a nice, it's not completely circular, but it's got a nice smooth surface and it's quite round. And I'm going to start by putting this gesso on. Now it's black gesso because I'm hoping that will give me a background, but I've really no idea what I'm doing. what happens with this. I have no idea what this stuff will be like. Oh, sorry, I need to undo the... If any of you have done this before, I will welcome any tips. I'm sure Sue would be probably going, Carol, no, you've forgotten this and you've forgotten that. But that's the fun of a new craft, isn't it? You find your way through it, and that's part of the fun. Right, so I'm just going to squeeze. Oh, that pours right out. Okay, that wasn't what I expected to start with. Okay, so we need to get that. That is very pourable. So let's get this. I'm going to end up with a lot left over. I've put this on a tray with some kitchen towel underneath. So, oh, this is great. It covers beautifully. Hang on. All right, I want to get that really smoothed out. It's probably too much. Right, I think I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to take it right over the back as well. I'm just going to take it down around the sides. Wow, that wasn't quite what I was expecting. I probably should have put that in a pot, guys. So big mistake there, but that's okay. I'm just going to smooth it over. I don't think I'm going to need a second coat. That looks like it's covered it really well. But I don't want any lines in it, so I've got to keep smoothing it out until... Let's turn it round so I can see that side as well, that you could see. Let's take some of this around the edge here. Okay, probably wasted far too much of that, but that's the good thing, isn't it? When you do a new craft, that's how you learn. You make the mistakes and realise, oh, I won't do that again. So I certainly shan't be pouring it out like that again. I might try and scoop some of that up and put it in a pot in a minute. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a clean brush. Let me get another brush just that isn't loaded up with the stuff so I can smooth it out a bit more. This one, see if I can smooth it out. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I don't want the lines in it, you see. Getting there. Getting all the excess off. I might have to use a few brushes just to get all this excess off. Next time I shall know, I just want a little dot. There's another one. I'll make the mistakes so you don't have to, hopefully. We'll see. Yeah, that's it now. Good. No lines left on that now. Nice smooth surface. Just getting the excess off because I poured it all over the... Actually, it's over there. I'm just going to go the other way so we don't end up with the brush lines. Right, I'm going to see if I can move that away from that puddle. I'll probably get some of this on me, but that's okay. Right, let's move that away from that puddle. Can you still see that? Yes, you can. Let me turn you down so... Oh, no, I won't because I've got paint all over my hands. Right. Okay, so that's the gesso applied. I'll let that dry out. But that definitely only needs one coat, so that's really worked well. And then what I'm going to do is try and scoop some of this up and put it in one of my little pots, I think, so I've got it for next time. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to dry, and then I'll come back to you to show you how I'm going to start doing the dotting. Okay, so the gesso has dried on the stone. As you can see, it's given me a lovely surface to work on. I've just left the bottom without gesso because I'll probably just put something else on the bottom there. I might even put a bit of felt or something, I don't know yet. So I want to work on this surface here. But before I do, I just want to sort out the paints and make sure that I've got them as I want them. So what I actually have already done is I've already done some of these and mixed them, but I'm just going to show you with my last colour how I did that. So I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see the paint and not worry about seeing me. Okay, so as I said before, this paint is a bit thicker than what I need. So I'm just going to give it a good shake. And then I'm going to pour this, just put some of this into the pot. Okay. This is the silver that I'm looking to do at the moment. Okay. And now I'm going to take the medium, this flow, and we need some of that in there as well. I'm just going to add a bit at a time and then mix that up so it's all in. This doesn't colour the paint at all because it actually dries clear and it doesn't actually change the colour of the paint, which is great. Right, so mix that up a bit there. Sorry, I'm struggling to get the position right there, so that's better, isn't it? And when I want it at a thickness, when I lift it up, it just goes back to where it should be. And you see that's still peaking a little bit, which I don't want it to do. So I'm just going to add a bit more of the medium. It seems like if you just add a little bit at a time, you can get to that right spot. So let's just mix that right in. Right. Right, so now if I just lift the paint, put the paintbrush and lift it out, I don't know if you can see that. That is going back. It's not peaking. So that's probably about the right thickness. So just to test that, I just take one of my rods that I'll use. And so we put it into the paint. You see that drops back down again and onto the card that I'm using as a practice sheet and up. Yeah, and that's not spreading, but it is settling back down into a dome. Let me do it again. Might be a little bit. That might still be a little bit thick. I'm just going a little bit more. Just a couple of drops, just another little drop. That's better. Let's drop him back now. Don't want it dripping off, but you want it just to hold that bit up there and then down. Oh, that's better. Probably push that a bit too hard. Let me try again. That's it. It's gradually settling out into the dome. It's a bit of a guessing game. That might even be a little bit too thin now, I think, but I'll see when I come to use it. I'll leave it like that for the moment. And put my lid on to that in a minute. Okay. Right, so I've chosen the colours from my first go, and I've had a little bit of a practice on here, as you can already see. So I'm going to go for two contrasting colours that are, sorry, that's me dropping the paint pot. I didn't have the lid on properly, but it's okay. So I've already mixed up, I don't know if you can see, so I've got, so we've got a pale pink and a dark pink and then a darker turquoisey green and a lighter turquoisey green. I'm going to work with those. Just put those so you can see them. Work with those and the silver to highlight to see if I can come up with a nice pattern with that. So I'm going to have a bit of a practice on here. I'll show you what I've done. And then we'll get on to having a go on the stone, which is a bit scary, but it's a good chance to get going. Okay, so I've had a bit of a play on the card. If I just bring you down, you can see that's using all the colours. Without the circles drawn, I am going off circular a bit, getting a bit elongated. but I've tried to use the stencil with the chalk pencils. It's not working very well. So I think just for now, sorry, I've got the shadow of my camera in there. And I've also, as I've used them, I've realised some of them were thinned down a little bit too much. You can see a few places where they've spread, so I've thickened them up a little bit. So I think I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to have a go at doing this now on the stone and see what happens.